So if you have ever built a portfolio website, you know the struggle, which is choosing the right tech stack, making it look professional, and the worst of all is keeping it updated. In fact, I ran a poll recently on my YouTube community post, and guess what? 67% of people said the hardest part of having a portfolio is keeping it updated. That's why in today's video, I'll show you how to build a portfolio the right way. And it's going to be one that's easy to manage and update using Astro and Sanity. So let's dive right in. So before we start building this portfolio website, I want to just talk about the usual way of building a portfolio. So the common way of building a portfolio website is to code it from scratch by yourself using any tech stack or any framework or whatever you want to call it. And this is the route that most people go for if they have time on their hands and they are not in a hurry to look for a job or something, because building a portfolio, it kind of takes time. And another way of building a portfolio is by getting a template from a service like Team Forest. I think the name has changed from Team Forest to something else. You can let me know in the comments. Then, but the issue with this is that you have to edit the raw HTML, CSS, or if there's a framework or library, you have to do that manually. And there's also documentation on how to do that. And before I continue saying anything, just keep in mind, I'm not in any way bashing anybody for not getting templates from Team Forest. I'm just stating some issues that I find personally and I decided to fix it. So one of the issues from buying a template from Team Forest is that you have to edit the raw HTML, CSS, or whatever code they give to you. And oftentimes there are documentations that helps you and guide you through the process. But at the end of the day, you have to go to your code editor and implement the changes yourself. And another issue with this approach is that every update that you want to make to your website requires you to open your code editor and implement that update. So I'm guessing the question that you might be asking now is, how do we resolve this? So this is where portfolio kit comes in place. And the idea of creating a portfolio kit is to make it easier for developers, designers, and other creatives to quickly launch and manage their portfolio without any stress. And I will leave a link to the website in the description so that you can go through it. I'm not going to talk about every segment. I've done a video on that, which I will link in the description or in the card as well. So if I go to the templates right now, I have two templates currently. There's a photography one and there's a developer portfolio one. And this is the one that I'll be building today. And I'll show you how quickly it is to set up a portfolio in minutes and even deploy to Netlify or whatever service you want to. And with this developer templates, yeah, it costs 25 bucks, but you get a fully designed and customizable portfolio powered by Astro and Sanity. And the best part is that once it's set up, you can update your portfolio without touching code. So you just have to log into your Sanity dashboard, update your project, and your website will be instantly updated. You no longer need to dive into code and manually do stuff yourself. So if you want to support my channel, you can just get this template and you can also see a demo as well. But what I have is that I already have the template opened right here. So if you purchase it from Buy Me a Coffee, you get a link to join a Discord channel where you can chat with others and drop any issues you might have when setting it up. But I'm going to go through all that. And again, if I go to the README file, there's a documentation right here. So I can just go to Alex Morgan, this one. I'll bring this back here. I no longer need this one. And I no longer need this one. Okay, so we'll be following the documentation for these developer templates. And if you're wondering why this is free and this is paid, Basically, this was the first one I did, and not everything you do the first time is perfect. But this handles the core feature, which is making sure you can easily update your website. But with the developer template, I added more features like presentation, where you have to edit your website and see your changes in Sanity before even publishing it live for people to see. So we'll talk about that shortly, but you can go through the photography template, and if you like the photography template, you definitely love this one because this has more features than this. And the more features I add, because I plan on making this much more better, I will up the price. So you should just grab it while it's cheaper right now. So let's go back to my code. And sorry, let me go back right here. So this is the getting started page. I don't want to go through everything, but for the prerequisites, you can see before you begin, make sure you have the following installed: Node.js, npm, Git, Visual Studio Code, Sanity account, free tier, and a recent account for notifications. So we'll just go to sanity.io. While that is loading up, um, the first step is to extract a zip file because you receive a zip file after purchase. I've already done this part and I've also installed all the dependencies right here. So I will just need to continue from step 4. So step 4 says create a new Sanity project, and you see some sub steps under it. So I will come right to Sanity. And in case if you don't know what Sanity is, it's a content management system, a headless content management system where you can easily manage content, and is quite flexible because you can use any framework on language with it since it's headless. So I can just come to this part and I'll click on new project. If you don't have an account, it should prompt you to create an account, which you need to do. Click on new project. So I'll just call this one Test Studio. I think I have a name, so I'll just go with Test Studio. Select organization. I will just select this one. Create project. So if you follow the step, you will see they are telling us to copy the project ID because we need it for configuration. So I'll just copy it right now. And we also need to set up our environmental variables. So rename the .env.example2.env file. So I will just look for it right here. So this one I will just call it env. And by the way, for the installation process, you just have to do some few adjustments to your code, but once that is done, you don't really need to write any other code again. So I will paste in the project ID here. I will copy it. And for the Sanity token, there's a guide on how to get that, but I'll just save you the stress by going back here. You go to APIs. Okay, we got a free upgrade. I think this upgrade lasts for 30 days. So go to tokens and we'll click on add API token, and I'll call this test token. And for the permissions, we'll choose developer so that we can have read and write access to all datasets. And I'll save. And this should be private, so don't allow anybody to see this. By the time you're watching this video, this studio might have already been taken down. But one catch right here is that is in the documentation as well. These permissions usually switches back to the viewer from developer after this 30 days trial. So just keep that in mind. So after 30 days, this will go back to viewer, but you then have to select the permissions that accept read and write, which will be an editor, but you see that available to you. So I'll copy this one and I'll paste it right here. And again, for the notifications, I will just go to resend. So again, if you don't have an account on resend, you should create an account. And if I go back to the documentation, everything is still here. So sign up for free, navigate to the API key section. So right here, So I have some APIs. I'll just create one. I'll call this one test. Just test. Should I call it test key? Full permissions and add. Then I'll reveal this and copy this. Say done. And I'll paste it right here. Then for this notification email, I suggest using the one you used to open the recent account. So that's what you use right here. So I'll save this and I'll go back. I will no longer need access to this. I'll just leave it open. Then the next step is to configure our astro.config file. So basically we just want to replace some stuff. So this project ID now, I will copy this and I'll go to astro.config and I'll replace it right here. And let's check if okay. Then for the sanity.config, so I'll quickly save this and ignore this wiggly line. Is an extension from my end which you might not have. So go to sanity.config and we'll scroll down. By the way, the same code is still right here as well. So go to the project ID and paste it here. And we'll just leave this title as Test Studio because it matches. So we'll save. And lastly, we'll go to this sanity.cli to add our project ID as well. So we'll paste it right here. So what we need to do is to import the pre-configured dataset. So essentially, we want to start with these templates right here. So to do that, we just go back. First of all, need to copy this command and paste it right here. Hit enter. All right, so we've successfully imported all the documents that we need. So the next step now is to start our dev server. So npm run dev. So this will open port 3000 and can come right here. So we no longer need this one. So I can just click on this, open the ports directly. All right, you can see that we still have the same content, but the cool part now is that but you can now see this part that say open in studio, which means we can easily edit this in our studio as well as this and all the documents. So still following the documentation. So to customize your site, once it's open, just go to /admin. So you can just copy this, come here and paste it here and say /admin. All right, so we'll get this prompt that say before you continue to access your content, we need to add our URLs to our course origin. And if it's also your first time, it should prompt you to log in first before I'm showing you this. So I'll click on continue and I'll add course origin. So it has been added successfully. I just need to close this now and this should reload. All right, so it's telling us to log in. So this is the part I was referring to. So I'll log in with my GitHub, but you can log in with the provider you signed up with. So I'll log in with GitHub. So now we are at our studio and we can easily manage our content. So you can see that we have some documents right here. And if I go to this page, the main page, you also see that we have this nice looking portfolio website that has light mode and dark mode. So you can go to light. Everything looks nice and you can still switch it back to themes. All right, so let's say I want to change this to something else. I can easily do that from my presentation tab or my structure tab. And if you go to this visual editing, you get more information about the various type of views in terms of editing your content. So I will leave this for you to go through. But this structure is basically used for the general updates. So if you want to update anything generally, you should come to this structure. Why this presentation tab, I'll just click on it. So this presentation tabs give you like an overview of how your website is going to be when you publish it after making the changes. So you can see that it's fairly the same as this, just that is on tablet view. You can also switch to mobile view if you want to, and it's everything will work fine. So let's say I want to change this crafting digital experiences. I can just come to this right here, and I'll just come to this and say it should be building, and this should reload with the update. So you can see it's rebuilding now. And most times you might just get little connection issues. My connection is not that great. So you can see here it's now building and the website is still crafting. So if I'm cool with this, I can now click on publish. So it's now published. So I can come right here and refresh. You can see now we have that changes being implemented. We didn't have to go through the codes and make those changes ourselves. So this is just one of the things you can do with Portfolio Kit. So now if you also want to change the layout of different sections, I think currently there's only two sections right here, or I call them components. So there's only two variations of this hero section. So I can easily come to my docs and go to hero, and you can see we have this one and this one. So if I want this now, I can just go to my code and I will copy this. And to use it, you just scroll to the end. You will see how to use. To implement these zero components, copy the code from your desired hero variation, paste it, paste the code inside hero.astro file. So with this now, you need to you need to open your VS Code. But like I said, you are just copying and pasting. You're not really writing any code. So I search for my hero.astro and I will highlight everything and paste what I copied and save. All right, so if we go back to our code right now, that should be implemented right here. How cool is that? So, and the same way you can go to your admin and edit all these contents if you wish to do that. All right, the same thing, I think there's another variations for this project section. Yeah, so there's another variation right here, as you can see. But I'll leave this for you to just check it out if you want to. In regards to copying and pasting, I just wanted to quickly point something out. If you paste your code and your website is already deployed, you just have to do a git push and it's going to just sync the changes and run a rebuild again. So that being said, if we go to the documentation again, you can see this theming section. So you can easily change the fonts if you want to, and you can also change the color. So let's say at some point I tired of this purple theme style. I just need another one. I just quickly come right to my admin and I'll go to structure. And if you also notice, you will see that the theme that we have right here is the theme we also have on our studio as well. So if I want another theme, there's a documentation right here, but I'll just quickly go to site setting, select this one right here, and you can customize the name of the site to match yours. Then the color scheme right now is violet, and all these schemes are gotten from shardcn. So shardcn is a component library that gives you a bunch of components that are also easily customizable. So I'm using all the themes from the shardcn theme. So let's say I need this, let's do rows. So I'll hit publish. So it has been published. I'll just have to refresh our studio and I'll also refresh our websites. So now you can see we have this nice looking rows theme, and it works on both light mode and dark mode. So light, you can see it looks really nice, and if we go to dark mode as well, looks nice as well. So on our studio, you will see we'll still have the same theme right here. You can see now it's now having these rows effect. All right, so I just want to quickly deploy this, show you how to deploy it on Netlify. But currently you can just deploy to Netlify and Vercel. So to deploy to Netlify, the steps are right here, but I will just save you the stress. So if you are satisfied with all the changes you've made, all you just have to do is to go back to your project, and I will just stop my server, and I'll first of all initialize a new git repo by saying git init. So we've initialized an empty git repository. So all we have to do now is I'll go to GitHub and quickly create a new GitHub repo. So say GitHub. So I'll call this test website and I'll make it public. I'll leave this as it is and I'll click on create repository. Then I'll copy this command right here. I'll go back to my code and I'll do a git add to add all this. I'll do a commit. So say first commit to clear this out, and I'll paste in this command I've copied. So I'll paste it right here. I'll hit enter. So I'll clear this out and I'll refresh right now. So now our project is on GitHub. So we want to deploy to Netlify, but the same approach works with Vercel as well. So I'll go to Netlify, then I'll just log in. But if it's your first time, you should sign up. So I'll say login. So I'll click on add new site and import an existing project. So we want to deploy with our GitHub and we'll search for the repo. So I'll call mine test website. So I'll just say test. So it's this one right here. And I'll give this a name. So say test website. Let's see if it's available. So it's not available. We'll just add Tutsi at the end. So this one is available. So we'll copy this later, but for this, you just have to leave all this. And for the environmental variables, you click on add and we'll go to our code and search for the env file. And like I said, all this it's in the documentation right here. So I'll go to my code. So I'll quickly copy the property right here, paste it right here, and the value as well. So copy this one. So I'll quickly populate everything and get back to you once I'm done. All right, so I'm done. So in place of this Sanity Studio preview URL, you can see we are using the local host right here, but just add the website right here on yours. So I'll hit on deploy. All right, so the site deploy is in progress and I'll come back once it's fully deployed. All right, our site has been deployed, so we can preview it by just opening it right here. So let me just bring it here, and we no longer need this one and this one. So you can see everything is working fine. So we also need to have access to our studio. So the same process, I'll copy this and I'll open this in a new tab and add admin to it. So say admin. So I'll click continue and we'll add course origin. So it has been added. I can close this back again. So you can see now the admin side is no longer different than what we have before. And there are some tabs I didn't talk about, like this media tab, which is for handling different media assets. Again, everything is in the documentation. So the final thing I would do is to test the contact form. So let me just quickly add something. I'll say John Doe, say John Doe at email.com, say your website is amazing. So if we hit on send message now, two things are going to happen. So your message has been sent successfully. So first of all, if we go to our documents, if we go to our admin and go to contact form, and you can see the form directly right here. So it's only read only, you can't edit it, you can just only see the message. But the down part about this is that you have to now open your studio every day to check. So you don't also have to worry about that because you can still receive the same message on your mail. So if I go to recent now and I go to emails, so now you can see that we've got a form submission right here. And if I open my mail, so you can see that we also have the new contact form submission on our mail as well. Alright guys, so that's basically the end of the video. If you want a portfolio website that's easy to build, easy to update, and it's actually fast, you should check out the portfolio kit developer template. The link will be in the description. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more web dev content. See you in the next one.